Wow, wow, wow.
Something's on my sweater. Look at that.
Oh, what are you doing? So non-presentable.
Being a slob. Being a
Yeah, it
slob on a
happens.
live stream.
Well, there's a lot of that on the internet. Let's face
I
facts.
know.
That's kind of de facto.
We are here to raise the bar of live
Yes,
streaming.
that's right. We are
Somehow.
so consistent. We're so consistent that we're now a day late raising the bar. That's how much we're raising the bar. We're like every Wednesday. Hey, that's on me though. That's on me. Have some friends in town, so we're doing some things yesterday. So I appreciate you and then the viewers and everyone else listening home, allowing us to go a day later. But we still have a lot to get to, and we'll start even with around here in Florida, where they got a quote unquote cold snap coming through here. And I know everyone listening in places that are not Florida are going to be like, screw you people, because it's going to get down to like 47 this weekend. And people are losing their ever-loving mind. I was just mentioning to you, I was out and about running errands today because, oh, by the way, Thanksgiving is a week from today. I kind of need to pick up some supplies. And I'm walking around in shorts and a T-shirt because it's 67 degrees outside. And you would have thought that I had a third arm growing out of my head, the looks I was getting from some people who were bundled up in their full winter coat.
It's probably just a matter of time, though, before you become acclimated, and you're going to think it's nuts to be out in that weather.
That's what everyone's saying. Everyone's like, you just wait. They were like, don't judge, because that's going to be you in like, a year, maybe even less.
Right.
You'll get used to it. And the next thing you know, you'll be the same one at 65 degrees being oh God, it's too, I'm not going outside today. That's just too damn cold. I'm not going outside at all. So it'll be interesting to see what the neighborhood looks like when it gets down to 47. I'm sure it'll be desolate and wind will whistle down and everyone will be like, everyone stay indoors. It's too cold to do anything.
See, and I was in California earlier in the week, and I'm standing there, and suddenly I hear Christmas music come on. And it's 70 degrees outside and sunny, and I'm standing next to a palm tree, and I'm going, why are they playing Christmas music? And then I was like, oh yeah, it's November 20th. That's why they're playing Christmas music. Because it's Christmas time.
Exactly. Well, it's funny you mention Christmas time, because that's the other thing getting down here. Not just the weather is getting used to, but it's also my first ever interaction with an HOA, right? We're called the POA, property owners, homeowners, whatever you want to call it. And so something transpired this week on the community Facebook page. Mm-hmm. So the three villages that I live in have a community Facebook page. And if I may share with you, this was a post that was shared by anonymous member, because as you may or may not know, if you deal with an HOA, you can get fined for certain infractions.
Right.
So this particular individual had this to say to the HOA.
And while you're reading that, I just want to, if anybody out there enjoys their HOA, I've never heard anybody with an HOA who goes, oh yeah, they're awesome. They do exactly what I want. It's not a hassle at all. Love to hear from you.
It's like the cable companies, or that's the same thing. Anyone ever? So here we go. Good evening. They start to the HOA. I am hoping you can provide clarification. I received a violation for Christmas decorations outside of approved time frame. In the letter, it states that, quote, POA is dedicated to protecting the investments, enhancing the appearance of the community, and keeping property values high. I'm confused as to how my Christmas decorations are going to influence those factors, but homes with lattices on their fence or overgrown bushes, trees, or even black, never power washed driveways and sidewalks are not a problem. It's honestly a joke that Christmas decorations are a problem, but those things are left untreated year-round. Let's not forget the clubhouse is displaying their Christmas lights, so I sure hope. Well, here's the thing. The clubhouse just got the perma lights put in to where you can change those lights into any color. Oh, okay. So this individual is then assuming that means they're Christmas lights when they're just perma lights. And so they go on to say their Christmas lights are now displayed, so I'm sure hope they got a violation as well. Again, I hope you're able to provide clarification to this. Signed, whomever.
Yeah, it's like everybody. So yeah, so they post anonymously, and it's like everybody
Yes.
turns into a grocery store security guard, and
You're correct.
they just think they've got this power that they can now wield, and they go around and they measure how tall the grass is and if the bush is overgrown. And look, I can understand the intent behind all of that, but my God,
It's not like they had it up before Halloween,
right?
right? I think you need to understand, especially living down here, I've realized because the theme parks capitalize on the holidays so much, like Halloween starts in August. Christmas is like the day after Halloween down here where they have Christmas parties and such.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to understand that people just go, okay, I'm going to follow that lead. It's 4 weeks is when you can start putting it up, which is a month out. I see their point in this, but I also, it wouldn't bug me to the point where I go, well, that's going to ruin my Christmas, or to go to the length of I'm going to write a strongly worded letter,
Yeah,
then I'm going to share that letter to the Facebook post, and of course, you then get everybody responding, and yeah, the phone number, please, because if
oh
you
sure.
have dealt with your HOA and you actually like it, 707-4 Monkey, I would love to hear from you. Um, Here's someone who went off and said it's upsetting. They should focus on the issues that are not taken care of all year long. When you walk around the neighborhood, there's so many violations. The chairs at the pool are full of mold. The mailbox letters and numbers in V1 are fading, and the entrance to the dog park is a mess, just to name a few. Incredible how Christmas decor is an issue. Wondering how they become aware of the violations that fast. They're always in the office glued to their chairs. HOA fees going up again, quote unquote, protecting the investment.
Well, and the people who sit on the board of HOA, they all live in the neighborhood too. So I mean, they're.
Yes.
It's not like this is this outside body that's coming in. But I think the thing that's wouldn't you love to go back into the minutes? I don't know how many documents you have, but it would be great to know exactly when they decided. All right, this is the day that the Christmas lights can go up, and not a day sooner. And
Well,
what
apparently
was
that
that
was the
fight like?
Well, apparently that was a big issue last year. So we're getting, because there's newer people coming in all the time,
Hmm.
and that was a big issue last year. That one person was a voice of sanity on this post, saying, "Hey, it used to be just 2 weeks. It was a big thing last week, and they kind of met you in the middle. And now it's at 4 weeks, and just follow the rules." And that person just got pantsed on Facebook, like, "Get out of it, Bruce! Shut up, Bruce! Like,
Wow.
I want to put my Christmas decorations up." Like, one lady went in so far to go to the clubhouse that said that there's Christmas lights and
Mhm.
take a picture of that. And they responded, and they're like, "It's actually the color is actually like more of an amber and clear, so I guess it's not actually Christmas lights." Another person threw a fellow neighbor under the bus, saying they have an across the street neighbor who literally like pulled up their lawn and their landscaping and it looks like crap, and that's so much worse than my Christmas decorations. And it's like,
And are these
good
people all
sweet.
posting anonymously?
No, only the original poster
All
posted
right.
anonymously. The rest of these people just went, oh, yeah. Here's one person who said, I had to go check about the Christmas lights on the, and posted a picture. And they're like, look kind of Christmassy from the road, but if you actually go up to the building, they're green, white, and orange. So definitely not Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
But they had to like show everyone and like, I have to investigate further. And the things that upset people.
And you live with these. I mean, these people are your neighbors. I mean, you're gonna
Correct.
see them, and some. God.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, it's supposed to be the most wonderful time of the year, right? The season
Right.
of giving and everything else, and you people are just that upset. It's kind of crazy to me. It's kind of ridiculous that they went off that much. But yeah, it became quite the thing, because then it became other memes came off of that. There were like secondary posts of people like here, and then another one. Someone says, this guy trying to get a joke. This guy was just like, for those replacing Christmas lights decorations in your garden, please avoid anything that has red or blue flashing lights. Every time I come around the corner, I think it's the police, and I toss my vodka out the window. Such a waste.
Ah.
So yeah. So dealing with that now, I'm just like, oh, what did I get myself into in that particular situation? Ridiculous.
Does your HOA have any rules against this?
I'm not quite sure if they do or not, but I'm thinking universally that's probably frowned upon, whether it is an HOA or not.
I think this is the kind of thing that would reduce your property value, right?
Oh, I think so. I think so. That if you're like, yeah, by the way, the neighborhood's great, but I got the guy next door comes and just likes to crank it right in front of my Ring doorbell camera. And I think this goes to your point, Johnny, of how you said eventually we're all going to be on some type of adult site.
Yeah, whether you want to be or not.
Yeah, you're going to be. So in this particular story, and by the way, this comes from Pennsylvania, which is really becoming the Florida, the Northeast.
Yeah.
A lot of ridiculous stories coming out of Pennsylvania. So this particular gentleman, there's a single lady who lives next door to him. And so about 2:00 in the morning, she gets a notification. Bing. She picks up her phone and looks, and there's that guy walking around with his wang out right in front of her Ring doorbell cam, and just starts doing the skyjacking going on, like real stuff going on, like, and she's like, "What the French toast?" So she saves the video. She gives it to the authorities, and she says, the next time I saw him out and about, I was just like, "Hey, what was going on? A couple nights ago, I get a Ring doorbell."
How do you walk up to somebody and say that? How do you walk up and say, "Hey, last time we saw each other, you were pleasuring yourself on my porch"?
The last time I saw you, you were whipping up a batch of thunder on my porch, and apparently his culpable deniability was this. And according to the woman in question, she said the man said it with quite the smirk of, "Oh yeah, I had been drinking heavily. Sorry about that," and kind of like almost gave a wink as if to say that my hand could have been you, lady. You would be really lucky. You could have been with me there, toots.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I'm calling BS on this guy because yeah, it's you can claim drunk, but you can't explain the deliberateness of walking up to a doorbell. He knew what he was doing.
Yes, you can claim drunk, but who among us, when inebriated, could then go, "All right, well, I'm feeling a little randy, but I just don't want my computer's right here, and I have the comforts of being indoors. But no, let me go, leave my domicile, walk outside, not just drop trowel right there. Make sure I go around the next door, stand in just the right area to where it gets that's not a drunk man."
And it wasn't just anybody's porch. Right? It was specifically her porch. I mean, there's a lot of thought that went into this thing.
Yeah, and you're not that clear-headed. I understand you do a lot of dumb stuff when you're inebriated. Mm-hmm. I get that, but that's a well thought out plan. You can't claim drunk and go, "And then I walked outside, and then I remembered your address, and then I remember where you had your Ring doorbell camera, and then I decided to go to town." Right. And it's like,
then I brushed my hair, and then I put on makeup, and then I put on a suit, and then I took my pants off.
I sprayed the Axe body spray. I took my eugenics, and then I said, "You'll like it too," and you really didn't. So I hope he gets some type of arrest or fine or something. I hope that defense doesn't fly of just, "I was drunk."
Yeah. I hope so too. And a companion story to that one is this guy who, as you can see by the head, stole 67 pieces of underwear, and he is growing a masturbation tree in his yard.
I wonder if the HOA has to prove that. I wonder how long that process goes through.
Yeah. A guy named Ophos Chunjit.
Oh God! Oh, good old Ophos.
Yeah. 27-year-old guy was arrested after someone driving by saw this strange tree in the woods. Don't you hate that when you're driving and you're going, "What the? Yes. What is that? What is that?
Yeah.
What is that?"
Have you ever turned around to go back and see it? I've never done that. You have? I've never done that. I've never actually turned around to go see, but I've been like, I can't believe I will drive back by there the next day, but I never in the moment turned around and go, I got to go back and see that.
Mm-hmm. I don't think. I don't know if I can make this any. Let me see if I can make this larger. excuse the expression.
Hey-o.
Just so you can see what the.
I get a look. There's a menagerie of color on the old masturbation tree.
Doesn't seem
That's
like
one.
that.
That's one.
There we go. There we
There we
go.
go. There we go.
And there he is, being detained.
It's like the new Charlie Brown Christmas there. It's like all it needed was a little love, like real loving, and then all of a sudden it perks right up there.
He reportedly told police that when he was drunk,
Of course,
he would help himself to underwear belonging to women, men, and the elderly.
Oh, so he was not discriminate. It just whatever underwear was around.
Colonel Samkai says the suspect would sniff the private garments and then would discard them once the odor of the owners had faded. He would hang them on a bamboo clump behind the hospital. Meanwhile, this poor 55-year-old guy was driving by, and he thought it was so unusual, he reported it to the police. Hello, police!
Is that who you would directly go to? I guess I probably would if you saw an underpants tree.
Yeah.
Like if you drove by, you turn around and you're like, there is an inordinate amount of underpants. So he worked at a hospital? Where they found this?
No, they found it behind a hospital.
Okay.
6 villagers, several residents, had complained about their missing underwear. Would you know if any of your underwear was missing?
That's a great question.
Can you identify the quantity and the styles enough to go, oh yeah, something's wrong here?
There's certain ones I bet you I couldn't. I bet you could probably, if you were to be drunk like O-Face here, Ofas, and go through my underpants drawer, there's probably a couple you could take that I would never miss.
Yeah, I don't know if I would know.
Everyone has the bottom of the rotation ones that for some they should be thrown away, but they're there just in case you can't do laundry and something happens. It's just there, but they're never really in the regular rotation.
I mean, I could imagine women would know if theirs are missing. They seem to have a very clear idea because buying undergarments if you're a woman, that's a thing. You gotta there's thought that goes into that.
There are various different cuts. Like, I mean, I guess guys do too in a way. There's tidy whities, boxers, boxer briefs. But but not this guy.
6 villagers who believe their underwear is on the tree have filed complaints against him.
Do the other villagers then get upset that their underpants didn't make the cut?
Right, yeah, exactly.
Like if you find out and you're like, what's wrong with my underpants? Why didn't it get decorated on the tree like the rest of these folks?
Officers are urging, and if you're watching right now the live stream in Thailand, officers are urging that if anyone thinks their underwear is missing, please come forward.
No. Who's going back to? If you get a knock on the door, police, yes, officer. Just want to let you know, we found a guy's masturbation tree. We think a pair of your underpants are on that tree. If you want to come down to the apartment and claim it, no, those are underpants that are gone for the rest of eternity. I don't need to claim those. I don't want to claim those. Those are done. That just returns to the ground and whence it came.
He's been charged with stealing and faces a jail sentence between 1 to 5 years or a fine of $47.
Boy, that's low. I'm sure that's probably a fortune over in Thailand where he's from, the $47, but that seems extremely low.
It does.
To have grabbed 67 pairs of underpants, use them in a way to where you're like, and then I love how when the odor goes away, that's when he discards them.
Right. Yeah, he's not getting a thrill out of it. And you know what's interesting here, and I don't know if this matters, but at no point in the article does it say that he referred to this as his masturbation tree. Somebody applied that name to it.
Well, I mean, what else would you call it?
Well, I know. I mean, that's...
Undergarments tree? Like, does he admit in the story to do... although I guess I had not heard that he did anything with them. We just heard that he sniffed them until the smell went away, and then he decided...
He admitted that he...
he did admit that he
was pleasuring himself with the underwear in some form or fashion, and I don't know. I don't know what the order was. I don't know how that works.
A sniff, rub, tug, or rub, tug. Yeah. I don't know exactly how it went.
I don't know if he was in the tree when it was going on. I have no idea the significance of the tree, but that's our masturbation segment of the show.
Yes, take care of it yourself. I just want to know. Do you think the elderly and I don't want to read too much into this, but the elderly and
go
the
ahead.
dude ones, pardon the pun, was that to throw people off the scent? Because that's a wide menagerie.
Oh, yeah.
Or it's just underpants in general is his thing. It doesn't really have to be attached to anyone. It's just the underpants itself draws him to it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's we'll see if we can get an interview with him when he gets out of jail in 5 years or $47.
Actually, we're going to start our crowdfunding. We'll get the. There's a Patreon below. Go ahead and click the link, and we'll get him on the show. If we get $47, we'll get his name cleared, and we'll get him on the show.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah. I wouldn't know if my underwear's missing. Knock yourself out.
I wouldn't either. Yeah.
Well, there's been a big insurance scam going on in California.
I love this. I love every part of this story. This is fantastic.
Yeah, look at that stupid costume.
I mean, it's bear-like.
Yeah.
It looks like a bear, but I don't think you're fooling anyone, and obviously you didn't.
And so there's this couple out there who apparently a group of people have been trying to dupe their insurance companies by saying, "Oh my God, a bear got into my very expensive car and just tore it all to pieces. You're going to have to send me a check right now." And apparently defrauded 3 different insurance companies out of $142,000
for bear attacks.
And we're going to go back to our friends at KTLA in Los Angeles, who were with us last week.
With the dirty man doing dirty things.
Yeah. And it's to watch exactly what happens, you suddenly go, I don't know how they thought they were going to get away with this.
Or barely believable. From afar, this surveillance video shows something or someone rummaging through a car. But if you look closer, it might just look like a bear. That's partially correct.
No, it looks like a guy with a blanket on, is what it looks like.
Yeah, the first couple of movements were very human-like, of like, I got to make sure I put the seat down, get back there, don't want to get stuck anywhere.
Right.
But if you look closer, it might just look like a bear. That's partially correct. It's actually someone wearing a bear costume accused of trying to get a hefty insurance payout. The video is from January of this year on the 700 block of Bishorn Drive in Lake Arrowhead.
I'm kind of just stunned because I don't believe somebody could do something like that.
There are bear encounters up here for sure. It's not something that's
What is he wearing? What are you doing wearing an ELO shirt? Come on, have better taste in music.
I noticed that too.
Good Lord.
Something's wrong with this guy. What is he, like 23? And he's walking around with a
he has no idea. Yeah, I got my ELO going on.
Yeah.
And I love how he's like, there are bears around. Oh, really?
No. He got that ironically at the Salvation Army. He doesn't like the ELO.
No,
something
who does?
Like
there are bear encounters up here for sure. It's not something that's like completely out of...
In fact, look over his shoulder.
Oh, the mountain thrift shop?
Yeah, he did. He literally he went into that thrift shop, got that's where he got T-shirt. That is ironically, where he got
it. Yeah, I'm trying to read what the other guy has though.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Like the other guy looks like he's actually wearing an actual shirt of a band from this century.
Yeah.
Whereas Ding Dong over here is wearing his Jeff Lynne's ELO. Idiot.
Yeah, exactly. He was.
No, there are bear encounters up here for sure.
There are bears, so it could happen. There are bears out here.
Is he related to Ricardo Silva from last week, who was just like, it's not uncommon to have a man just whacking it in your crawl space?
Sometimes this happens, and I'm trying out my very first mustache ever. How's it working out for me?
I told the bear, don't bring me down. Yeah.
The realm of possibility.
Investigators with California's Department of Insurance say that the suspects made a claim with their insurance company, stating that a bear had entered their 2010 Rolls-Royce Ghost and that the animal had caused interior damage.
Okay,
Images show
Can we just stop for a second? If you have a 2010 Rolls-Royce Ghost, do you need to be committing insurance fraud? I don't know. I guess it's a 14-year-old Rolls Royce, so I guess it may not be the top of the line. But it sure seems like you could do something better than come up with this plan.
Yeah, and what you're about to see here, keep an eye on the claw marks and how ridiculously perfect they are. I mean, I don't even know anything about animals, and I could go, there's no way that's actually a bear.
Perfectly aligned claw marks. Once the insurance company started investigating, detectives found additional claims with 2 other insurance companies on the same day, same location, only this time with 2 Mercedes vehicles.
What a bunch of knuckleheads to try to do something so silly.
Residents tell us it's not entirely unbelievable. After all, it's bear territory. State investigators later contacted the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, where experts found several discrepancies from the video.
The person, as they entered the vehicle, they did not seem to troubleshoot.
What's the matter? You don't like his blurry background there?
No. And also, I think that the guy who called them knuckleheads, Larry, is head of the Arrowhead HOA.
Yeah,
he seemed like that kind of guy.
Discrepancies from the video.
The person, as they entered the vehicle, they did not seem to troubleshoot the handle at all. There were no biological traces left behind in the vehical.
Biological traces. Does a bear shit in the Mercedes, is what he wanted to say.
Yes, exactly what he wanted to say. Biological evidence. The bear didn't crap or piss all over there.
And what's funny is, I love that he said he didn't really fumble with the lock. He just walked up and opened the door like a human.
Right. Oh, and also hit the key fob with beep and unlocked it.
They didn't even try to make it believable.
Shoot the handle at all. There were no biological traces left behind in the vehicle. The scratches, there were 6 long scratch marks from the tool that was used. And bears do not have 6 toes; they have 5.
Whoops! Sorry about that. Sorry about the biology that we messed up.
I didn't even do any homework on bears.
They're just like, I need this weird tool. I got a bear costume. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great.
I don't know. The bears in the cartoons, they only got 3 hand fingers. What do you suppose? Is it 3? It's got to be a multiple of 3, right? 6.
Yeah, exactly. What investigator is going to go that far into how many claws a bear actually has? Good Lord.
Yeah. Let me see.
The costume turned up during a search warrant leading to the arrest of 4 suspects from Glendale and Valley Village, 3 of them seen here. They were charged with insurance fraud and conspiracy after insurance companies were defrauded more than $140,000.
Well, people go to any lengths to make money, you know?
Yeah. Because they got to make money to buy more ELO shirts, ironically.
That's right. This cost me $1.25.
Yes, exactly.
That's
why would you keep that costume, by the way? So they found it in a search warrant. And why do you keep the evidence? Unless you thought you got away with it and you were like, well, the next car we can do it again.
And look at those. Those are some pretty tough-looking officers there, too, who got called on that thing as they pounding on the door. We have a search warrant for a bear costume. Open up now.
There was no biological evidence left behind, you idiots.
You didn't even fumble the handle, you morons.
I'm glad they were apprehended. I am glad they were apprehended. That needed to happen. That needed to happen. Too. Thank you, KTLA, our go-to for news here at Mike and Molson Mango the News.
It's 2 weeks
Make sure you subscribe.
Please.
Yeah. I love this headline.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So the church is dealing with people not showing up as much. Mm-hmm. Certain churches are exciting. Others are very funeral dirge-like, where it's just like, the Catholic stenics, as they do, up, down, that kind of stuff, just kind of very one note. Well, there's this church over in the UK that actually once a month they have a wrestling show, and that's also their sermon. So, like, their version of The Rock will come out and read a gospel verse and do he'll cut a promo on whatever bad guy, whatever sin he may be wrestling that day. And he's able to then vanquish it through wrestling.
Is that what we think we're seeing here? He's vanquishing a sin? Is that what's happening?
Well, that's part of it. Yeah, they just want to get more
sin. Yeah,
a little long-haired sin. Greed. Some people are bald. We'll get to that later on in the program. Mm-hmm. This person's having all the hair. So so they use it as a means to spread the word via wrestling matches.
Okay.
And so it's interesting. They do it once a month. people are coming out more and more. They have female wrestlers as well. And it's interesting in the fact that trying to figure out who is playing the bad guy in these matches. If you're going to church that Sunday, you're like, oh man, I got stuck being the devil again. Come on, can't I make a face turn? Can't the devil be the good guy from time to time?
Right. I kind of want to go to this church now.
And I don't know. I'm assuming that the bad guys cheat a lot. I don't know for certain, but I don't know if Jesus uses sacramental the wine or whatever and smashes them over the head or anything like that. I don't think they go that far. I don't think
Pulls
it's
a nail out of his own hand and gets him right in the neck. That'd be awesome.
I think I don't think there's a crucifixion match at all anywhere, or like on Palm Sunday. And then, next week, 3 Sundays later, he rises from the dead and be like, I'm coming at you, brother. And pulls off the crown of thorns and starts just beating the hell out of him with it and just starts pounding the other guy. I think they should do that, actually.
I think so too. He's got to come into the ring riding a donkey.
Yeah, he has to.
James Brown is singing "Living in Judea." Living in Judea.
I think we're onto something. I think the palms should be used instead of a kendo stick. They just kind of whap them with the palms and everything else.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
I think
there's nothing wrong with this.
No, there's nothing wrong with it at all. So I kind of want to go to that church. Maybe we'll reach out and we can get one of their wrestlers on the show with us to kind of talk how it came about and how packed the pews get when the wrestling ring rolls in.
You kind of want to know what Jesus' trash talk is like, right?
I kind of want to know what Jesus' finishing move is. Is what I really want to know. Is it the Ascension? Like that's his finishing move? Like picks you up and then throws you down? Or is it, the 4 horsemen? Or is it one of those?
And like with any professional wrestling, you kind of know what the outcome's going to be. You sort of know who's going to win this thing, right?
Right, yeah.
And I think in this case, it's probably safe to say Jesus always wins. It would be a real... I don't know, man. You think so?
Around Easter time, Jesus doesn't do a lot of winning.
Okay, for about 3 days he loses.
Exactly. There's 40 days where we feel bad about ourselves that Jesus. So yeah.
Oh, there's got to be a match with Judas, right?
Oh, there has to be.
That would be amazing.
I want to see that promo. I want to see the shot of the Last Supper. And and Jesus getting taken out, and he just turns to Judas and just I will see you in 3 weeks at Resurrection, the pay-per-view this Sunday.
Pontius Pilate, gets in there. He runs around like a chicken. He's all afraid.
Yeah. He's got to be like the commissioner, right?
Yeah,
he's got to be the commissioner. So I think so. Here's the thing, Judas. On that time, if you're listening, whatever the church is, I can't remember. If you're listening and you're downloading this, here's what needs to happen. If you have championship belts that are gold, Judas needs to win all of them before Easter. And then, Jesus needs to come and win the title back on Easter Sunday.
Oh, boom. Yeah. What's wrong with this? Is perfect. You
Everybody
get the
goes
story
happy.
Across.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And just talking about it makes me want to go to church more.
They could do talking about that. What is that? The disco, the Jesus Christ Superstar thing. They could do if they could do that and tell the story. They could do this and tell the story, right?
Correct. There's so many great stories. So many great stories you could do. You do David versus Goliath as a wrestling match. That pretty much Cain versus Abel.
Abel.
It all writes itself.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah. So give it up for that church over in England with the wrestling church.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of giving it up for people. Good old Johnny Turnip. If you remember last week, we talked about Johnny Turnip. He was the man that said leprechauns are more dangerous than Donald Trump, and we're going to bring about the ruination of society. Apparently, there's been a follow-up story with Johnny Turnip now, as he has gone in more in depth on how Johnny Turnip, and his other friends, the boys, as he says, saved us from the leprechauns. It's a doozy. It's a whale of a tale. It's quite the humdinger, as they say. It involves a warlock who's got a last name of Earl Elderflower is a guy's name, and he had to He had to summon a circle with using some mermaid tears, and then they had to banish the leprechauns down into hell. The leprechauns now apparently have cursed Johnny Turnip, but he will never stop fighting for us because he needs to keep us safe, and he is the only one that can see the drunk little bastards for exactly what they're doing.
So he is so literally from last week when he said it's not Trump that's the problem, it's the leprechauns, and just in the last 8 days he has vanquished them. Is that what's happened?
Yes, yeah. He says he's always chose to fly under the radar. Mm-hmm. He's like a stealth bomber. It's how I roll. But he says, after me and the boys narrowly averted a leprechaun apocalypse, I think it's only right that the people know how close we came to being dragged into an abyss of no return. So that's the only reason. That's the reason why I'm sharing this story.
Yeah.
He said, usually he's like the fat, ugly hobbit in Lord of the Rings who always is getting Frodo out of trouble, but doesn't get to partake in the cool elf parties. But now the world needs to know that I, Johnny Turnip, am the reason why the leprechaun apocalypse did not happen.
This guy really, really, really wants some attention, and I think we could probably get him on this show like that.
Oh yeah, because apparently I looked him up.
Oh, did you?
After this story popped, if you search Johnny Turnip on Google, there is just a mass quantity of stories from this particular newspaper, including one where Tom Cruise saved him during a pig hunt. Like, apparently he was going to die. See? Johnny Turnip. Close Encounters of the Turnip Kind. Johnny Turnip's got his own Reddit thread. Mm-hmm. So he's a pseudo-paranormal activist. He's kind of like the guy from Supernatural. There's a picture of Johnny Turnip, too, in this one. And he looks like... here's somebody's comment, though, on this story, Johnny. Mm-hmm. If we can get a message, Mr. Turnip, we need your help here in the States. I'll provide the logger. Our White House is a mess, please and thank you. So that's what they're saying about Johnny Turnip.
Well, there's obviously a lot of news articles about him, but I don't see a contact for him. So there's got to be. Is there a JohnnyTurnip.com? Did we check that?
Well, you know what? What we need to do, if we can summon the leprechauns, then Johnny Turnip will be here, lickety split. So that's what we need to do. We need to find a way to either conjure some leprechauns or get some. Get a boar hunt together where he may die, and Tom Cruise will have to come and save him again.
Yeah, that would probably get his attention.
Yes, good old Johnny Turnip.
Finally on the show, there is now something else to be concerned about at work. If you've got a bald coworker and you make a bald joke, you may now that may be considered sexual harassment, according to the High Court. Yeah, bald.
Okay. Why is that sexual harassment? Like, that's pretty easy to see. Like, I can see if you went up and started rubbing someone's head and be like, I love that bald head of yours. That's sexual. I can see that being sexual harassment. But saying, hey, you're bald doesn't seem to be harassing to me.
The High Court has ruled that calling a man bald is tantamount to commenting on a woman's breasts.
How so? I want to hear the legal argument of this. Color me intrigued. Yeah. What is the legal argument here?
A judge said the word could breach equality laws by adding that it is, quote, inherently related to sex.
Once again, okay.
The ruling comes as a British electrician, Tony Finn, claimed to have been the subject of sexual harassment at the British Bung Company.
British what company?
I said the British Bung Company.
Bun, B-U-N. Okay.
No, Bung.
It was B-U-N-G. So I didn't hear you correctly the first couple of times.
Yeah.
What do they do there?
They make bungs, and I had to look that up. And you may have caught it while I was searching there for Johnny Turnip, but it is in fact the stopper for a hole in a container.
Those are bung. Hence bung hole.
Yeah.
Bung.
That again.
Bung.
I have no idea. If nothing else, you've learned something new today on the show.
It's also the cecum or anus, especially of a slaughtered animal.
Oh my God.
Bung.
Yeah.
The bung.
Bung.
Yeah, bung. He sounds more excited when
Bung.
He does.
So
Bung.
they make corks is basically what
Okay.
All
right.
the story is.
So Tim Finn is there at his bung shop.
Right.
He's working at the bung factory, and
Working at the bung
someone
factory.
calls him bald.
And that's when his supervisor called him a stupid bald C word. And the British
See You Next
love
Tuesday?
Yeah.
Oh, they love that. Yeah,
They love that
If you ever
word.
watch the movie Train? You ever watch the movie Train Spotting?
Right.
They use that all over the place.
Watch a Ricky Gervais special.
Yeah.
And he'll drop the C word like it's nothing. They love that word. Here,
Yeah.
that's the
That's
third rail.
verboten. We're not even governed by the FCC laws, and we're saying C word.
Yeah, you just
That's
don't
one.
do that.
That is one. That is one that you just don't use that one.
That's like the word, right? I mean, that's the one. You can end a relationship like that.
Oh God, yeah. You can use the F-bomb day and night, but continue
His
on.
supervisor calls him a stupid bald C.
Bald. Okay, that's derogatory, but I don't think that's sexual harassment.
Right. And I think the C part might be, but anyway.
Well, that part more so than bald. I think you're putting the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Yeah, I think you're right, yeah. They ruled in his favor in February, which was appealed by his employers. The company's appeal was dismissed. They argued that because both men and women can be bald, whether it be a personal choice or the result of a medical condition, the use of the word towards a man is not in breach of equity laws, but the Justice Naomi Ellenbogen
Ellenbogen
said that the remarks were inherently related to sex.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Okay, let me just ask you this then. By their logic, I'm just following this down a rabbit hole, and 7074 Monkey if you want to chime in. If that's inherently sexual in nature, if someone just says, "Hey, nice haircut," does that mean they want to bone you?
No, I don't think that they're even saying that. I just think they're saying that, referring to it because it is a uniquely male thing is their argument. That is there for sexual harassment. They say even if it were the case that 99% of those who were bald were male, the existence of 1% who were female would mean that the act of which complaint was made could not be related to sex. Baldness is not related to sex, as both men and women can be bald. But the judge's comment, she agreed, commenting that a man's lack of hair was equivalent to speaking about the size of a woman's breasts.
Oh, that's where they're going. Okay.
In concluding that baldness is more prevalent in men, the tribunal was not importing questions of disparate adverse impact with its reasoning. Rather, it was recognizing the fact that the characteristic by reference to which Mr. King had chosen to abuse Mr. Finn was more prevalent in people of Mr. Finn's gender, more likely to be directed at such people, and as such inherently related to sex. So because you are a man and you are bald, and somebody calls you bald in a very derogatory manner, you can't just say, "Hey, look, give a beer to that bald guy over there." That's fine. But I guess if you're using it in a derogatory manner, it becomes sexual.
But can you imagine in a setting going?
No, I can't imagine any of this.
All right, yeah, okay. Well, there goes that argument.
But
then.
go ahead. Yeah, what was your?
No, I was going to say, obviously, if he's calling a female the C word, that's already bad.
Right.
But if he were, but if you were to be, hey, you C-cupped C word,
right?
With so that would be then sexual harassment because he said C-cupped. You know what I'm saying? Like just because he said bald in there, right. if they're equating it to breast size or bung size for that matter,
bung.
I just don't know. I don't know if I follow this logic here.
I don't either, and I don't know that it's very interesting. And there's been a bunch of articles that I've seen online. There's been all these talk shows, chat shows they call them there, of people debating this whole thing and saying that it's silly that if you refer to a guy as being bald that it's some sort of sexual harassment. But again, I think stupid bald C that's the one where you go, all right, that's okay. You're being a little
that's a step too far. Had he just said you stupid baldy, then I don't know if it goes so far. But you stupid bald C, I think is part of the problem. No,
I don't know. I'm going to be interested in following this one because sometimes things happen in Europe and then they make their way here and then it's a thing.
Well, let's hope it's just that and not a masturbation tree that makes its way from across the way to here. Because I don't know if I have the capacity for that in my display in the front yard. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Bung.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. She'll like it too, I
she'll
guess.
like
I don't
it
know.
Too.
Bung.
Maybe. That guy is very excited to say it. Very
Bung.
much so. Yes.
So we learned a lot today, I think. We learned a lot today. I don't know what it was, but I think we did learn a lot.
No, we learned what a bung is. We learned we learned what a bung was.
That's true.
And we also learned that the HOA here, there, everywhere is always a pain in people's patoots.
So back to it Wednesday of next week, yeah?
It'll be Thanksgiving Eve. You know what I think we should do? Play along at home because it'll be Thanksgiving the next day. We can do a couple things. One, we could compare recipes. So get your recipes ready to call in. And two, I think since it's that's like the biggest drinking day of the year, right? I think we should have some cocktails while we do the show.
I think we should. Idea. We
should drink while we do the show. The listeners should also then do the same. As long as you're not driving anywhere, and we'll have a fun little Thanksgiving Eve show next week.
Plan on it. Yes, we'll do that.
Awesome.
All right. Don't put up your Christmas lights too early. I don't want you getting kicked out of your house.
Yeah. I'll try not to. I'll make sure that I do not do that. I'll wait the requisite amount of time. Thank you.
And we'll see you next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central for more news mangling.
Yeah, like and subscribe. Yeah, ring the notification bell. Smash it. Smash that bell.
Smash that
Smash
like
it. Smash it.
Smash it.
Smash it.